I remember the exact moment I stopped believing my brothers. It wasn't when they lied. They'd been doing that for years. It was when they smiled. That fake, strained grin they wore as they told me, "It's better this way, Mia. Dad needs care. Real care. The home is beautiful. You'll see." I didn't need to see it, because I knew the truth. They weren't doing this for Dad. They were doing it for the will. Everything we ever had, our family house, the farmland, the stocks, the trust fund our grandfather left, was still in Dad's name. He was stubborn like that. Never transferred a thing. Never gave them control. So they decided to move him out of the way. And for some reason, they thought I wouldn't notice. They were wrong. 3 months earlier, our father had a mild stroke. Nothing devastating, but enough to worry us all. He lost some mobility on his left side and became forgetful. Names, dates, and conversations slipped through the cracks. I paused my career to help. I moved back into the family home. I read him the news every morning. I played his favorite jazz records at night. I massaged his legs. I cooked like our mother used to before she passed. And you know what he told me one night, tears in his eyes? "You're the only one who makes this house feel like home." But my brothers didn't see that. They saw weakness, and they saw opportunity. The night they showed up with their suits and their arrangements, something in me broke. "You're exhausted, Mia," Anthony said. "Let the professionals handle it." "Yeah," Marcus added, "he'll be surrounded by doctors, nurses, real help, and we'll all feel better." But they weren't talking to me. They were talking over me, like I didn't matter, like I was just a sentimental daughter getting in the way of their big plan. They had already signed the papers. Dad's power of attorney, granted during his confusion. Transfer of medical custody, filed without my consent. And just like that, 2 men in white coats took him from our living room. He cried for me. I ran after them, screaming, but Marcus blocked the door. "This is best for all of us," he said. "Grow up." He closed it in my face. And in that moment, I made a promise to myself. They may have taken my father, but I'd take everything back. What if you knew someone was lying to your face, but the world believed them? What if you had one person left who ever truly loved you, and they were locked away, silenced, used? Stay with me, because I'll show you how I turned their perfect plan into a disaster. How I faked a diagnosis that made them panic. How I outwitted their lawyers. And how, on a rainy Tuesday morning, I walked into that nursing home and walked my father out without a trace. The house was empty without him, not just in sound, but in feeling. No more laughter when I tried to make him remember who the president was. No more stories about how he met Mom at a corner bookstore. No more humming "Fly Me to the Moon" while sipping coffee. I called the facility. They said he was adjusting. I asked if I could visit. They said I was not on the approved list. Anthony and Marcus had removed my visitation rights. They erased me, like I didn't exist, like love had no value, like memory meant nothing. I cried, for days, for nights, for the father I could no longer hold, and the family I no longer had. But then I stopped crying, because tears don't build rescue plans. Action does. I started watching, listening, researching. Marcus wasn't subtle. He hired a financial advisor and began asking about early access to estate assets. Anthony renovated his kitchen, paid in cash, a new car, a weekend in Napa. They weren't even waiting for Dad to pass. They were just draining his accounts now. And still, he was locked away, lonely, drugged, unaware, until one morning a letter came. No return address, just my name written in shaky, familiar handwriting. Inside was a single line, "They don't let me have radio." But I still remember the music. He was alive. He remembered. And he needed me. That day, I stopped being Mia, the obedient sister. I became Mia, the storm. I sat in my car outside the nursing home for the 6th time that week. I wasn't there to cry. I wasn't there to plead. I was there to learn. Every day at 3:17 p.m., the back gate opened for medical deliveries. At 4 p.m., the second nurse shift changed. Every Thursday, the administrator took her smoke break alone. leaning against the east wall, distracted. I studied patterns like a prisoner preparing a breakout. Except this time, I wasn't breaking out. I was breaking in. I started with a Google search, early signs of neurological illness. Then blog posts, forums, message boards. I absorbed everything. Then I called my job, told them I couldn't focus, that I forgot my manager's name. They put me on leave. It worked. I told Anthony. Sounds serious, he said. Then, have you thought about selling your share of the farmland? There it was. He was circling the bait. I visited a private neurologist. Told him I thought I had dementia. He ran a few tests, ordered scans. I never went back. I didn't need a real diagnosis. I needed my brothers to think I had one. I sat across Marcus at a diner. Shaky hands, stirring tea. They think it might be early onset dementia, I said. He blinked, calculated. Maybe you should sign your share over to someone you trust. I nodded. Maybe. They took the bait. Anthony called, suggested a document. I had my lawyer draw up a fake one, full of legal fluff. I let Anthony see it. He smiled. So did I. I started forgetting names, repeating questions, wore mismatched shoes. And behind their backs, I planned. I hacked my father's old records, learned the staff roster, befriended a retired nurse. She gave me everything. Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. staff down. Software glitch. One shot. I visited our priest, told him my story, asked him to write a letter. He did. It would save me later. That night, I lay in bed. One shot. If I failed, he'd be locked away. If I succeeded, we'd be ghosts by morning. I wore scrubs. No makeup. Hair tied. A forged badge. RN Special Care Unit. I walked through the delivery entrance. Passed unnoticed. Took the blind spot near the east staircase. Room 212. I knocked. Dad? It's me. He opened the door. Thin. Trembling. But his eyes lit up. I handed him a delivery jacket. Put this on. We walked. A nurse saw us. Where are you taking him? I said, emergency neuro eval. Off-site. She looked at my clipboard. Blank page. Sharpest scribble. Then the phone rang. She turned. We moved. Out the rear exit. Parking lot empty. We walked to my car. Still the smartest one in the family, he said. I started the engine. We were gone. We drove north. 3 hours. A rented cabin. Cash. No names. No questions. He rested. We watched old movies. Laughed. He asked, what happens now? I said, we get out. For good. I called Anthony from a burner. I'm with Dad. Silence. Then rage. You kidnapped him. You locked him away. You're insane. You're greedy. You're going to jail. Not before I rewrite everything. I opened Dad's safe in the cabin. Inside, his original will. Signed. Stamped. A note. In case of conflict, trust Mia. The next day, we crossed the border. Told customs we were recovering from hospitalization. They waved us through. He slept. I cried. For the first time, we were free. We rented a small apartment in a coastal town. 2 rooms. A balcony. Old TV. Paradise. He watched seagulls. Hummed songs. Sometimes forgot my name. Never forgot how I made him feel. Safe. Seen. Loved. Back home, chaos. Anthony and Marcus reported me. Accused me. Tried to claim the estate. Hit a wall. My lawyer had submitted the revised will. I was sole trustee. Their assets? Frozen. They were under investigation. I never wanted revenge. But justice sometimes wears the same face. They called, emailed, tried the press. I ignored them. I wasn't the girl who begged. I was the woman who acted. We built a new life. Chess games. Street fruit. Quiet mornings. He'd say, I'm sorry they hurt you. I'd say, they didn't win. I posted our story. It exploded. Comments. Messages. That was me. People found hope. It wasn't just our escape. It was our revolution. If someone you love has been taken from you, not by force, but by manipulation. Don't stay quiet. You have a right to question, to fight, to protect. You're not weak for resisting your own family. You're not wrong for saving someone they gave up on. If you're scared, that's okay. So was I. But fear isn't the end. Sometimes it's the beginning. Subscribe, comment, share this. My name is Mia. I stole my father back from people who forgot how to love him. And I'd do it again. Because inheritance isn't money. It's memory. And I refuse to let ours be erased.